What's up, y'all? Ramil Herbs, and today I have a good one for you. Now, this one is very important, in my opinion, when it comes to men's health. So, today we're talking about daily habits that are decreasing your testosterone. Now, let's look at some of the negative effects that low T levels can have on your health. Number one, you will lack motivation. Without testosterone, you will not have the courage to do anything. You will not have the motivation to do anything. You become lackadaisical. Number two, your muscle and strength will decline. If you look, who people with the most muscle and the most strength typically have higher levels of testosterone. People with low levels of testosterone aren't as big or as strong. No physical energy. People who have low testosterone typically aren't in a gym, typically aren't doing anything physical. You will become weak minded. And what this means is you won't take risk. And one important thing in life is taking risk. And when you're weak minded, you will not do those things. Sadness and depression. Yes, having low T levels can cause sadness and depression. I bet if you look at men who suffer from some type of depression or who have suffered from some type of suicide or anything, if you were to test them for their T levels, they would not be very high. You will experience a decline in your libido and erections. Now, of course, it's normal when men get older, our testosterone levels will drop. That's natural, right? But it seems to be some common thing that people think when you get older, you're not supposed to have um, good libido or high erections. Well, you still can. It just depends on that type of lifestyle you lived when you were younger. Obesity and weight gain, pregnant man body and boobs. I don't know if you've seen those guys who literally look like they are pregnant. They have a big gut. Or some guys who start developing tits. No man should look like a pregnant woman or have tits. You will have more aches and pains in bones and joints. Yep, of course, if you see people with low testosterone will have more aches and pains in their joints, which is why they don't want to do anything physical. No self-confidence, you will not have confidence, and people can sense that you don't have confidence too. So that's why having your T levels up is very important. Your memory and ability to focus will also be effective. Yes, testosterone plays a big part in your brain levels functions. So that's very important. And as you get older, if you look, things like Alzheimer's, dementia, all those things that affect people's memories, you can also probably correlate that to low T levels. Lack of sleep. So our first daily habit that is lowering your testosterone is the lack of sleep. So lack of sleep lowers a young man's testosterone to the point where it is equivalent to aging 10 to 15 years. And that's just in a younger man. So imagine if you're older, you're already not getting enough sleep. Your testosterone levels are dropping significantly. And a study taken by the University of Chicago Medicine found that men who slept 5 hours or less for 1 week had their testosterone levels drop from when they went a week getting a full night's sleep. So just 1 week caused their testosterone to drop. That's all it took was 1 week. They also found that not getting enough sleep becomes an endocrine disruptor. Testosterone levels fell 10 to 15% just after a week of sleep loss. 15% of adult workers in the US sleep 5 hours or less per night. And I'm sure that level's probably higher. Because I can tell a lot of people really aren't getting enough sleep. And that's very important. And so going back, endocrine disruptor is basically something that disrupts the body's producing of the hormone testosterone. So that's what it does. So that's why sleep, you should always get enough sleep. Sleep is one of the most important things that you do. It's for your body to recuperate, rest, gives your body energy for when you wake up the next day. BPAs and phytolates. So BPAs and phytolates are well known to be endocrine disruptors. Phytolates act just like estrogen, which counteracts testosterone and affects libido and fertility. So these things are typically found in most of your plastic products. We all pretty much have probably used some type of BPA or phthalates because we use plastic bottles, cups, whether it's paper plates, anything like that. BPA reduces testosterone secretion, which causes T levels to drop. BPAs are used in plastics and the linings of food cans. So I don't know if you see some plastics are starting to say BPA free now because of the harm that BPAs cause your body. Phthalates are used in food packaging, beauty and skincare products, and fragrances and soft plastics. The average man puts 85 chemicals in their body every day, and a lot of those chemicals are endocrine disruptors. So think about this. Every day, you're probably brushing your teeth with something, using some type of soap, using maybe eating something out of a can, some type of package. You're probably putting chemicals in your hair, shampoo, things, all that stuff, right? All that stuff is possibly containing some type of BPA or phytolate that is causing your testosterone levels to drop. And when you break it down and look at how much you can find this stuff in, it's like, wow. It's almost using every single plastic or container packaging that you can think of. And so you're putting 85 chemicals into your body that can't be healthy. It just can't. 85 chemicals every day into your body, and especially if they're not good chemicals too. I mean, that's just a recipe for disaster. And I also saw that the average woman puts in 165 chemicals into her body every day. Now that's crazy. 85 is way too high, but 165, I mean, good Lord. And it definitely has an impact on your hormones, brain function, everything. Lack of exercise. Now, you already know this. If you're not getting exercise, you're not going to have very good T levels. Not getting enough physical activity leads to becoming sedentary, which causes excess fat to build up. Excess fat in your body will start to convert testosterone to estrogen. If you don't use your T, you will start to lose your T testosterone. A sedentary man will have less T than one that is active. That is a fact. So when you have, like these guys in these photos, that excess belly fat just hanging around, it will start to convert to estrogen. That's just what it does. If you look all if you look at, like I said, some of those men with the pregnant bodies, they have all that excess fat and you're not losing it. It's just sitting there doing nothing. So your body starts to say, hey, let's convert it into something else because we're not using it. We're not using it as testosterone, so they convert to estrogen. And that's why you start to get this look. Tap water. I didn't go too deep into this one. Not a big fan of tap water. Um, I think they put a lot of chemicals and things into tap water that really doesn't need to be in the water and that you really don't need. Disinfection byproducts, or DPB, occur in water from using disinfectants like chlorine, Chlorine reacts to organic matter, creating DBPs. DBPs have been said to have some adverse reproductive effects on men. Fluoride in water has also been shown to decrease men's testosterone, especially when high levels of fluoride were found in men's urine when tested. Yeah, I mean, the whole fluoride thing for your teeth, in my opinion, it's a big sham. You don't need fluoride. I've lived in countries who don't use fluoride in the water, perfectly fine. You're using toothpaste, so why would you need the fluoride in your water for your teeth? It doesn't make any sense to me. So yeah, I think a lot of these things that are used in the water, you don't need in the water. Humans have gotten by just fine using the water that they had without using all these chemicals until the recent century, 100 years ago. Food. Now, this is a big one. This is a very big one. Processed food, fast food, packaged food, snacks, frozen foods, whatever. Your McDonald's, Hot Pockets, all those things. Those frozen foods that you buy in a store, those quick and easy make meals and all that. Processed foods are high in trans fats. Trans fats are known to decrease sperm count and reduce overall testicular function, especially when trans fats are consumed in high intakes. Trans fats are not good for you when you, especially if you're taking it in a lot. If you're someone who eats fast food a lot, you're not going to have high testosterone for the most part, especially if you're not getting the physical activity needed. Like if you look, so of course you'll see maybe some athlete who eats McDonald's every day, right? But they're also doing the physical work that burns that fat away. So you really shouldn't use an athlete as an example unless you're doing the same amount of exercise work. These guys are working out pretty much every day, so they can afford to eat foods like that. But the average person cannot do that. These trans fats will sit there, like we said before, and turn into estrogen, and it will decrease your sperm count and testicular function. Alcohol. Alcohol damages the Leydig cells in your testes, which produces testosterone. So I don't know if you heard the term beer belly. Beer belly happens typically to someone who consumes lots of alcohol. Typically, someone who consumes lots of alcohol will have a beer belly. And that beer belly will decrease your testosterone. As you get that belly starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So consuming lots of alcohol, consuming alcohol really, period, really isn't all that good for you. But if you take it in small amounts, it is not that, it won't be that bad for you. If you're someone who does drink alcohol multiple times a week, it will affect your testes. Dairy. Consuming lots of dairy has been shown to increase the levels of estradiol in men. Estradiol is a female hormone which has a feminizing effect on men, which can lead to men developing higher pitched voices, developing breast and erectile dysfunction. Like I said before, we said at the beginning, these men will develop these pregnant bodies and start having tits. And if you look at dairy, what is dairy typically used in? Cakes, ice cream, things that aren't very healthy. So consuming lots of dairy is not good for you, especially the types of dairy. Now, of course, there might be some dairy out there that's good for you, but most dairy you really don't need to be consuming every day in lots amounts. Come on, like we said, it has a feminizing effect on you. That should be a given right there. You shouldn't be consuming too much dairy. Sugar is a big one. Sugar is one of the biggest ones that you do not need to be consuming in lots amounts. Sugar is especially artificial sugars, really aren't good for you at all. TV levels dramatically decrease when you consume large amounts of sugar because your body's having to quickly release insulin. T levels can drop 25% because of consuming too much sugar. You should not be consuming sugar in high amounts. You should not be eating lots of candy, sweets, none of that. I mean, come on. We know sugar is bad for you. Sugar is one of the worst substances that you can be consuming in lots of amounts. That's why they use it in these poisonous candies, drinks, and all that to sweeten you. Sugar is actually can be considered an addictive chemical too, because if you look, people who consume lots of these fast foods and candies and stuff become addicted. They can't help themselves. I don't know if you've seen that show, My 600-Pound Life. These people have food addictions. If you look at the foods that they're mainly eating, it contains these sugars, trans fats, dairy, all things that are unhealthy for your body. So, hope you guys take from this on these daily habits that could be lowering your testosterone. I'm going to do a video on some natural habits that you can do to increase your testosterone naturally, of course. So that is very important too. And some of it will bounce off some of these things like getting exercise, sleeping more, and things of that nature. So I think those are very important. Testosterone, there's a big attack right now on testosterone. In my opinion, I think testosterone will become the hormone of freedom. Men who typically have high levels of testosterone don't accept the BS that's given to them and are willing to fight back, speak up, and have more confidence. So definitely, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, tell me what you think about this video. If you have any other topics, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.